go and dance, and we had more fun. And Lucille Ball fell madly in love with Desi Arnaz.
Will someone please come? There's a waiter fainted out here.
My gosh!
Now, after that, you went under contract to, well, I guess you were signed, Harry Cohen had you come over to Columbia for one picture, which extended then into a,
to a
7-year contract.
And the thing that was interesting at Columbia, because I got a 7-year contract there.
And Columbia at that point, we have to say, was a very little studio.
It was little, but they had Rita Hayworth, and she was smashing. And I think the reason they signed me, because I was beginning to develop now. I looked like a woman at this point. I was like 17. I did a picture called Reveille with Beverly, and that picture was made for, I don't know, like $350,000. It made over $2 million for Columbia, and that's when they said we'd better do something about Ann Miller, and that's when they gave me my contract. And I stayed there for 6 years, and I did all those like it was all geared for the war.
What's Buzzin' Cousin?
All those crazy things.
No, I should explain one thing about Columbia Pictures in those days. They made about one major movie a year, and then they made a lot of these smaller pictures that made a lot of money.
Weren't they great movies,
They were great movies that made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the one that got all the budget every year was Rita Hayworth.
Oh, of course.
Now, that must have been somewhat frustrating to you to not be...
I was sort of like Queen of the Bees, but my pictures were making a lot of money, and they were very thrilled with me. And I think they, even though I couldn't compare to Rita as far as glamour, they kept me like a threat over her, you know, which was silly because I was nothing like Rita Hayworth. I was like an ingenue and tap-happy kid, you know. But Rita was so gorgeous.
Did you get along well with Rita Hayworth?
Oh, yes, we were very, very good friends.
What was Harry Cohen like? We hear now of him as such an ogre and monster to work for.
You know, there are two people, Harry Cohen and L.B. Mayer. I've heard nothing but terrible stories about these two men. But I never saw that side of Mr. Cohen. In fact, it was like a mother hen with me. And then when I met a man by the name of Reese Llewellyn Milner, who was the Consolidated Steel heir, which I didn't know at the time I was dating him, I wanted to quit my career there and just get married and be a housewife, and he begged me not to do it, and I married him anyway, and I was married to him like, I don't know, 3 weeks, and he beat me up, and I knew that I had made a terrible mistake. And before I left my contract, you see. Well, I got out of it, but then I got pregnant. My husband got drunk one night when I was 9 months pregnant, beat me up, threw me down a flight of stairs, broke my back. And when I had the baby, I had a broken back. And somehow or other, with God's help, I got my contract at MGM. After I did Easter Parade, I had to audition in front of about 7 ladies. And I danced in a steel brace, all braced up when I did Shaking the Blues Away. Not many people know that story.
Wow.
Robert.
Wow. Now also when you were at Columbia, you started dating or going out with actually L.B. Mayer, who was the head of MGM.
Yes.
Right?
And I was under contract at Columbia. And Mr. Mayer saw my pictures, and he loved dancing, and he was also worried that I would be a competitor for Eleanor Powell because I was doing all the machine gun taps and, you know, and not getting anywhere near what she was getting. I met Mr. Mayer, and I was with my mom, and he invited me that night after dinner if we would go dancing at the Mocambo. And he loved to dance, this little man. So it became a habit. He would call, and Mother and I, we'd go out, we'd go dancing with him. Then he started inviting me up with my mom to the Sunday night movies at his home. And they would dine first, a big long table of maybe 25 people with these huge chandeliers over. And we would eat there, and then he would run the movies, you know. And he got a crush on me, but I was so dumb that I didn't realize that he was kind of sidling up. This is all Columbia now. I was under contract to Columbia. And finally, he asked me if I would marry him. And by this time, I had met Reese Milner, my ill-fated marriage. And I said, Mr. Mayer, you should be in love with my mom, not me. I mean, I'm just your dancing pal, you know. And I'm going to be married to someone else. And you know, he went home that night. I mean, this is a well-known story. Took a bunch of sleeping pills, and they had to take him to the hospital. And I guess he got this fixation on me. And I was so glad that when he finally, you know, they came around and so forth, I said, "Oh, Mr. Mayer, please," I always called him Mr. Mayer, "please, I hope you're not angry with me. I never thought of, I always thought of you like my dad." By that time, my contract was ending at Columbia, and I was auditioned for Easter Parade.
At Mr. Mayer's studio.
At Mr. Mayer's studio. To this day, a lot of historians think that the only reason I got that part was because of L.B. Mayer, who wasn't at that point hardly speaking to me. His ego was so hurt. And
so it almost worked against you.
It almost worked against me. But Arthur Freed, God bless Arthur Freed, knock on wood, he saw all the tests, and poor little Judy Garland,
this was
no, not Judy, I'm sorry, it was Sid Charisse, fell and
so
she hurt
we're
her
talking
ankle.
now about Easter Parade.
Easter Parade.
Sid Charisse was to do it with Fred Astaire
Yes.
and Judy Garland.
And,
or actually
no,
with Gene Kelly.
Sid was going to do it with Gene Kelly. He broke his ankle. She broke her leg. Fred got Gene's part, and I got Sid's part. But I had to audition for this, and I won that part. But all the time I was under contract to MGM. Mr. Mayer, I don't think I ever saw him hardly. I mean, in the commissary, he would nod at me or something. But it was, and everybody to this day, they think the reason I got Easter Parade is because of my friendship with L.B. Mayer. It was just the opposite. His ego was really down.
Two cheeks together can be so divine, but only when those cheeks are yours and mine. I've danced with dozens of others the whole night through, but the thrill that comes with spring, when anything could happen, that only happens with you.
Now, tell us about Fred Astaire, dancing with Fred Astaire.
Oh, well, Fred Astaire, I mean, I knew him on the RKO lot through Hermes Pan. Then I used to go over to Hermes' home at night for dinner after Fred and Ginger would stop shooting. And we'd go up there and we'd all have dinner. I got to know them quite well. So when I finally got to work with Fred Astaire, when they selected me, Fred was delighted and thrilled. He was worried about my height. And I had to work, I don't know whether you ever noticed it, but when I did "It Only Happens When I Dance With You," I had this beautiful dress on with feathers. It was a white dress with red ostrich feathers. It was gorgeous. I had on ballet shoes. I didn't have on heels because I was taller than he was.
Now, this was your first Technicolor film, and in those days, color required a lot more light, I understand. Was that more difficult to work around, Technicolor?
Yes, because they didn't have air conditioning on those sets. They had big, huge fans, and they had them up in the catwalks and all, and they'd blow these fans. But when they got ready to shoot, they'd have to cut the fans off because it made so much noise. So you just really perspired. And I remember when I did that big number for Busby Berkeley in Small Town Girl. It was called "I've Got to Hear That Beat." And it was a number, it's the last thing Berkeley did before he died. He was such a genius, you know.
I gotta hear that beat, I gotta hear those drums. And even when it comes to romance, when I feel that I might fall, I always stall and play it smart until I hear that beat. I gotta hear that beat, that certain beat in my heart.
In this number, he had me dancing down rows of trombones, and all you saw sticking out of the floor were these men's black tie, bottom part of the arm with a beautiful white cuff with a cuff link, and they were playing these instruments, and it was surrealistic rather, and then rows of trombones, rows of trumpets, rows of violins, and all you saw were the arms. Then underneath, these poor men were in shorts, jockey shorts, and sweating. Oh, I remember it was so hot when they would cut the fans off and we had to shoot. It was so hot on that set. It was tremendous. And these men, one of them fainted, you know, it was that kind of thing. And then I got a blister on my heel and I said, Mr. Berkeley, please can we stop? I have to put a Band-Aid on. He said, nope, we're not stopping. That means you have to take your stockings off. Nope, we're not stopping. You can do it, you can do it. Think about something else. He had no sympathy for anything. He just saw what he saw through that camera and he wanted it to be great. And he actually like mesmerized you. So you did it. You didn't stop with a bad toe or a bleeding blister. You did it. I bet you there's one story that you don't know, which is part of my background. When I was under contract to RKO, I remember that whenever I wore these long black stockings, or light stockings, and the wardrobe lady used to have to sew them, I would stand and they'd sew them on briefs, pants, briefs. And I'd have to stand and sort of like spraddle-legged while they went in with the needle. And then if I went out on this set and I got to run, they'd say, cut, and I had to come back in. They had to cut them all off and then put a new one on, sew them on. So one day, Willis of Hollywood came over and to the set, all he did was just hosiery. And I said, Mr. Willis, why don't you make some stockings like you have for the ballerinas? They're like tights, but let them be silk stockings. And he said, Ann, that's a wonderful idea. Why didn't I think of that? And he came back and gave me a pair. I put them on. They were a little bit too short, and he had to make another pair for me that came up higher because I'm kind of long-legged. And that was the birth of pantyhose. And I sort of figured that I was the mother of pantyhose. And I bet all the men hate me, but I thought it up. I did.
Do you like the rehearsal process?
Well, of course, because I'm a perfectionist. I got along very well with Fred Astaire because he's a perfectionist. And he and I got along great, just great. I was so pleased to work with him. Gene Kelly worked with Stanley Donen. Stanley Donen on the town was strictly on those cameras, and he knew how to move a camera. He started out really more or less like a director of, Gene was the director, but he took over when Gene was performing, and he would tell Gene, that's no good, do it over, let's do this, let's do that, and he knew how to move those cameras. He was a genius, really, Stanley Donen. They all were.
So how was Kelly to work with on the town?
Oh,
About
Kelly?
your height. Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't actually dance with him, you see. I danced, when I did the Prehistoric Man number, I had the world's most expensive chorus behind me. I had Frank Sinatra, I had Gene Kelly, I had